I'm very passionate about helping women with invisible illnesses realize that you can still lead a pretty healthy and active lifestyle. It's just not going to be the one that you had envisioned for yourself, but the hell else are you going to do about it? It has been it has been a crazy freaking day. I have been so busy and pulled in so many different directions, and I shipped my car. I dropped my car off to be shipped to Texas. I got to tell you, it was hard emotionally. Is like I told the guy, "That's my baby. It's the nicest car I've ever had. I'm very proud of it. I really love it, and they better take damn good care of it." That's all I gotta say. But anyway, um, yeah, I'm a little scattered, so this could be interesting. But let's talk about 8 things that you can remove from your life to make yourself happier. This information is from lifehack.org. Number 1, excuses. You know what an excuse is? It's a lie that you tell yourself. You need to accept full responsibility for where you're at. If you don't like where you're at, that's fine. Change it. But you can't change what you won't face. So you have to accept that responsibility. Number 2, perfectionism. It doesn't exist. Oh my gosh, just realized how messy my bookcase is. I packed a whole bunch of stuff off of there today, and yeah, everything, it was chaotic. It was very chaotic. And now the mess is going to drive me nuts. Anyway, I literally got home like 5 minutes before I had to jump on. But anyway, perfectionism does not exist. You need to let go of that idea, or you're going to make yourself and everybody around you crazy. I have friends who get really caught up in, I need to have the perfect holiday. And it sucks because, well, not for me because I'm never there, but um, you're putting so much pressure on yourself to try to achieve something that you're never going to be able to achieve. So you got to just let that idea go. Number 3 thing you need to remove from your life to be happier is fear. I honestly didn't know this was in the notes. I printed these a few days ago because I wasn't sure what I wanted to talk about the other day. Um, but I've had a big realization about myself this week, um, in regards to fear. And I have a bad habit of avoidance. And I always thought it was just a procrastination thing, but I realized it's a fear response. It's not fight or flight, it's fight, flight, or freeze. And unfortunately, I tend to freeze. And when I freeze, I shut down to the point that I don't do anything to move myself forward. And it really sucks. You know how many opportunities I've missed in my lifetime because that's my standard? It's a terrible standard. Don't do that to yourself. Fear can mean 2 things. It can mean forget everything and run, or face everything and rise. You need to be bold. Don't minimize yourself. Number 4, you need to let go of the idea of controlling everything. You cannot control everything. There's one of my favorite sayings is, God gave me curly hair to remind me that I can't control everything. And yeah, as you can see from my hair, I definitely can't control it today. Um, you can't control what other people do. You can't control world events. All you can do is learn how to control how you choose to respond. And I say it that way because to me, a reaction is that initial gut, oh, dang it, I'm so upset. But a response is when you take an emotional step back, give yourself a moment. Okay, this is unpleasant. However, I had somebody just the other day try to engage me in a confrontation, and my reaction was to jump right in with them and say, "Oh yeah, that you want to go?" But I stopped myself and I said, "You know what? I'm not going to do this with you. You're welcome to be as angry as you'd like, but I'm not going to fight with you. I'm not going to argue with you because it's not worth it to me." Side note, it really pisses people off, and that makes it kind of funny. I guess that makes me petty. Oh well. Nobody's perfect, right? Number 5, you need to let go of a fixed mindset. I really struggled with this. I thought for a long time, I don't have a fixed mindset. I'm very open. Well, I am open to a lot of things, but you've got to be open to learning. You've got to be open to figuring out who you are and what makes you tick. You can't grow with a stagnant mindset. And if you aren't growing, you're not really living. And if I hadn't if I hadn't given up my fixed mindset, I wouldn't have realized that my procrastination, my avoidance is me freezing under pressure. I can't fix a problem if I'm not aware of it. So you have to be open-minded. You need to fall in love with learning, and I personally think it's a really good idea to start learning about yourself. What makes you tick? What makes you what makes you the way you are? I've been I've dabbled with personal development, self-growth, self-help, whatever the hell you want to call it, for a long time. And I'm rereading a book that I read years ago. And the first time I read it, I was like, what the hell? And this time I am like ridiculously into this book. I have well over 100 pages of notes that I've written in like 9 chapters. Yes, I'm finishing the ninth chapter. I have taken such a deep dive into this, but it's that what I'm learning in there is it's giving me so much introspection, and that's how I figured out the whole thing with my avoidance. Number 6, you need to give up your desire for overnight success, because you know what? That's not a reality. I said this to a friend of mine years ago, and she said, "That's not true, Courtney. What about tech giants? What about the tech billionaire or tech millionaires?" And I said, "Okay. Do you think they sat down at a computer and instantly knew how to do all those cool things? Because they didn't. You don't see the hard work that, they'll trot out a celebrity. They're an overnight success. No, they're not. Very, very, very rarely does that happen. There's so much work that goes on behind the scenes that doesn't get acknowledged. You want success, you're going to have to put in the work. Suck it up, buttercup. Number 7. This was one of the first bits of this kind of advice I ever took, and it's so invaluable. You need to get rid of toxic people in your life. And there are some people that they may not be toxic with everybody, but for whatever reason, the two of you just don't it's a toxic relationship. I have one of my mentors says she doesn't like to use that term toxic because it's so negative. But if you're dealing with somebody who's really toxic, you have some role in that relationship. And it's for your own good because it's not bringing out the best in you. So you need to let go of that. So if you don't want to call the other person toxic, you can certainly call the relationship toxic. Life's too short for nasty people. You should not have the time, energy, or patience for that crap. I have a very simple litmus test for other people. And I will admit, once in a while, somebody sneaks through the cracks because I'm horrifically naively forgiving. Because I'm the golden rule person. If I'm nice to you, I have no reason to doubt that you're going to be kind to me. Anyway, a good litmus test for dealing with other people is, do they lift you up? Because if they don't, why are you spending time with them? You don't need life is challenging enough. You don't need somebody dragging you down by the ankles. Cut the damn rope. Let them go. You don't have time for that. Number 8, you really need to let go of the need to say yes. And if you have health issues, this is extra critical for you because when I was first diagnosed with fibromyalgia, they told that literally in the first conversation I had with a medical professional about it, he told me, you need to learn how to say no. I was like, what? And I'm thinking to myself, how the hell does he know that about me? And he said, people in your situation, we know that we can't do all the things that we want to do. We know that we can't do all the things that are expected by those around us. So when someone comes along, hey, will you do this? Yes. Why, yes, I will. Knowing as I say those words, I don't have the time. I don't have the energy. but it's a guilt thing. And I'm a really I'm a chronic people pleaser. I am working on that. You gotta quit trying to please other people. You've got to start worrying about yourself and your own happiness. And if you're a people pleaser, you'll commit to doing things you do not want to do just because you want to make somebody else happy. Well, what about making you happy? Doesn't that matter? It should. If it doesn't, why the hell doesn't it? And to quote an acquaintance, I can't remember her name now, damn it. That's really bad, but I love this. No is a complete sentence. You don't owe anybody an explanation. Can you help with this? No. Would you like to do this? No. Although that being said, I am such a chronic people pleaser that I always give an explanation, but you don't have to. You don't owe anybody that. And then I did say 8 things. So here's my bonus tip. I didn't write down that this was a bonus, so sorry. But I'm a lot more together than I have been lately, and I'm going to take it. You need to let go of comparisons. You don't have any idea what the hell you're talking about when you're comparing yourself to somebody else, because all you're seeing is the surface. Even if it's someone you know pretty well, we only know what other people choose to show us. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. You have no idea. A lot of times, most of the time, you're comparing like your chapter 4 with their chapter 30. Of course, you're going to come up short. They're so much further down that path than you. Look, if you want what that person has, here's the really cool thing about success. It leaves a trail. So all you've got to do is figure out how they got from point A to point B and do the same thing. Well, you got to make it yours, but Anthony Bourdain, I think everybody knows who Anthony. I like to use Kate Spade too. Both people wildly successful in their field. And on the surface, they had everything. Well, guess what? They both committed suicide. You can't compare yourself to somebody else because you don't know what's going on. You don't know what's going on in their heart, let alone what's going on in their household. If you have to compare yourself to others, you have to, I really recommend that you compare yourself to people who are less fortunate than you are, because that will remind you, it should remind you to be grateful for all the blessings in your life. And you know what? Even if you're really down in the dumps and you're thinking, screw you, I don't have any blessings, you do. If you're watching this video, you've got either a computer or a smartphone. You've got access to the internet. You've got electricity. I'm going to assume you probably have a roof over your head and probably have running water. Y'all, I live in a state where we have entire communities that are not on a road system. They have no infrastructure. There's no running water. What the hell do you think happens in a community with no running water when your house catches on fire? Your neighbors watch in horror. That's what happens. So if you've got running water, you are blessed. If you have a roof over your head, you are blessed. If you have electricity in your home, you are blessed. And the freaking internet, you've got the world at your fingertips. You are blessed, even if you don't want to admit it, which I've been there. I understand that. Anyway, I could ramble all night, but I'm not gonna. I will not be on Monday because I will be in Texas. I am so excited. It has been cold enough here. It has been cold enough here. My brother lives a little over 100 miles away, but he's up in the mountains. Granted, well, he's in the foothills. I didn't check the weather here today. I just know I'm cold. It was 8 degrees at his house this morning. He's like, I'm so glad my wife is not home because she would be really unhappy with this. Well, yeah, 8 degrees. It's too early for that. But I'm getting out. I'm gone. I no 40 below zero for me. No winter solstice of 3 hours and 42 minutes of the most weak ass pathetic sun you've ever seen. I actually Googled it. I don't know if I told you all this the other night. I actually Googled it the other day. I'm going to be in Tyler, Texas. And you know what their winter solstice is? 10 hours of daylight, 10 hours and 1 minute, which is enough for me to say it's more than 10 hours of daylight. And I'm really looking forward to that. But anyway, I will not be on Monday, but I will be back Wednesday. well, at 5 o'clock Alaska time, but that's gonna be 8 o'clock Texas time. That's gonna be really weird to get used to. I am a massive, massive, massive morning person. I like to get up at, like, 4, 4:30. I know, but well, part of that's the fibro demons decide it's time to wake up about 4 or 4:30, but I like the wee hours. I like how peaceful it is. But I can't adopt that schedule down there because I still have to work. Of course, I'm keeping my job. I'm just working remotely, so I have to keep Alaskan hours. So, yeah, that's gonna be really interesting. It's gonna be a big adjustment for me, but I'm looking forward to it. And you know what? It's gonna be warm, so I will figure it out. Y'all have a great weekend, and I will see you Wednesday from beautiful sunny Texas.